If you're new here, my name is Travis and that's my dad. His name is Rick, and today we find ourselves well over 1,400 miles from home in Kansas City, the great state of Missouri. We drove this 64 Chrysler New Yorker from Tucson to here, and from here we have to get from Kansas City to a place called Encampment, Wyoming, with a population of 400 people. And I think I found something that can get us there.
See if that thing falls down and hits us in the head.
So I found this. This is a 1995 Dodge Cummins 12-valve turbo diesel that I bought off of a guy named James, really nice guy, who bought it off of the original owner who used it, as you can see, as a plow truck. He owned a number of homes in Kansas City, and I guess they were all in the same neighborhood, and he would use this to plow around the neighborhood where his houses were. And he was the only owner of this truck.
Wait a minute. All right.
So once the original owner got done with the truck, that's when James bought it, and it's been in this barn for some years, and it was sitting for a little while before that. So it's been off the road for, I don't even know, quite a few years. This plate
From
says,
what was said to us.
Yeah, from what was said to us. It always starts out from what was said to us, because sometimes when we dig into it, we find something different where it may have been sitting longer, but this plate says 19, so that would be 6 years.
He said that he quit driving it but kept plating it. So
Yeah.
we don't know how long.
So let's take a look around the truck real quick, see what we got, and then we'll start working on it, because we have to make it from here 800 miles to Encampment, Wyoming, and then we actually have to drive all the way back to Tucson, which is another 1,000-some miles.
First thing, I call dibs on this.
Yeah, those hood ornaments.
Oh, I call dibs on it.
Is this factory?
No. Somebody put that on, but I like it.
That is cool.
That would look better on my truck.
I do like that.
Yeah, it'd look good on my truck. What's up with the hay? Let me see this. Get this out of the way. Oh, man.
So this truck has lived in Missouri all its life, and it
shows.
Yeah, it shows it. We got rust right here. We got the lower doors. We got no rockers. Fender wells, but the worst of it is in the bed. We put this plate over it, but you can see. Oh gosh.
Man. Put that back over that. Good night.
These out of the way.
Wait a minute, I'll get that. Here, don't flop it. Here. I don't know. I just don't want it to break anything.
Sit it right here.
That ain't gonna fly.
Bumper's rotted out. Got a different tailgate on it. Look at that bed.
Might be what's holding the bed together.
Oh, there's the headlight lens. It's missing from the front.
Here, scoot that back over there. So. Oh, look at this. Yeah, let's just leave all this alone. Look at the bed of this thing. What was you hauling?
Yeah, because not only is it rusted, but it's all caved in on the wheel wells. It's caved in there. This has been, it's like he was hauling rocks.
But it was a one owner.
I guess one owner don't mean everything. It's had the daylights beat out of it as if a teenager owned it. I've had a couple teenage-owned trucks.
Yeah.
Them aren't fun.
No.
We got no cab corners. Floors are gone. I can see the wiring.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 4x4.
That's
So I did good on that. It's a 12-valve automatic 4x4. Just take a look inside here. We got manual windows instead of power windows, which can be convenient because sometimes these power windows, they're nice, but the contacts get all, finicky, and then they don't want to work, or they go up and down real hard. So
there's something else. I don't know if this is new or is this another telltale sign of what happened to the truck. Oh, look.
Is it new?
Yeah, it's still strapped into the box.
And
then we got a book. Oh, got a smart steering.
A cigarette ad?
It's smoking a cigarette and reading about the steering.
Probably trying to fix it.
They had it open there for some reason.
It's got 301,921 miles on it.
As far as we know, he put every mile on it.
Yeah, he was the only one in this truck because your seat is perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and then this one's completely roached. So he rode a lot of miles in this truck.
Yeah, his butt eat that seat out.
Yeah.
At least there's a pillow.
Down to the metal.
At least there's a pillow.
Oh, that's probably for the lights for the
for the
snowplow.
Yeah.
And then that yellow control box is something for that plow too.
Oh, I bet this is up. Oh, look, yeah.
Up and down or something.
Yeah.
However these snowplows worked.
We don't know nothing about snowplows.
Yeah. We got no power mirrors. You would have your switch right here for power mirrors if you had that.
I'm gonna go lube these doors.
Typical Dodge headliner problems. I've never seen one that wasn't like this. This headliner always comes unglued from the foam. And then once this comes off, that foam starts coming off and it gets all in your eyes when you're driving, and it really is terrible. Dash, it's there. It's cracked in a few places. We got a chunk missing from the passenger side. Another typical second gen issue. Dash is cracking. Usually you put a skin over the top of them and call it good. Dad's spraying down the door hinges. Go ahead and pop this hood and see what we're working with. Definitely hit these hood hinges next. I can already see that this hood was opening and shutting hard. It bent the hood hinge. That is supposed to be straight.
Oh boy. That's not good.
You can see where bent this one too. Paint's gone. Cracked the paint. So here she is in all her glory. Nothing I love more than opening up a hood and seeing a beautiful old 12 valve. So obviously, being the first year for the second gen, we've got first year for the P7100 injection pump. The year before this, they had the rotary pump, which it just looks a little different. Check a few things. We got really low brake fluid in the front reservoir. I think the back controls the front and the front controls the back. I think that's how it goes. So opposite of what you'd think. So you can tell these are pushed down. If these are down, that means that fluid is leaving the reservoir.
Back's front.
Well, here you have to worry about rust. Rusted lines. Could have a rusted line. We could have a bad wheel cylinder. Not too sure there, but we're gonna have to take a look at those brakes. That's for sure. It's low, but it's got some oil. It's pretty dark, so we'll probably do a oil change. Check the coolant.
I'm gonna look and see if I can.
That's full antifreeze. That's a good sign.
I'm gonna look and see if I can find out where that brake fluid's going.
Check it out. We got a Baldwin filter. It's a high quality filter. It wasn't cheaping out and getting no Fram. That's a Baldwin. Let's see if we got some trans. Yeah, I mean, it's got red fluid on the stick. So that's a good sign. Doesn't seem burnt or brown. I like what I'm seeing so far.
This is definitely going to have to be dealt with.
What's that?
That gas tank. Look at that gas tank. We're going to have to go get a strap.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, that's a serious.
That's a health threat.
Yeah. That's
a hazard.
That's a.
If the front is low, are we leaking somewhere out of the front?
Well, I'm looking to see where. Obviously, I should see brake fluid somewhere. I don't see nothing.
So this is pretty dry. This oily residue could be engine oil leaking. You would see it wet around here, I'd think. This side's the same way, but probably what's going to happen is as you use the brakes, you're going to find that leak.
I mean, if it was a complete busted line, I mean, we wouldn't have nothing in there. And I don't. The wheels, neither one of the wheels have brake fluid on.
All right, so we've had the battery charger on these batteries for a little while. We've been sitting here for about 30 or 45 minutes, and I have a voltmeter here that I've been using to check the battery. And looks like we got quite a bit of volts in there. Should be enough to try and crank it. But before we do that, put a little bit of brake fluid in this reservoir. Finish that off. All right, take these off. See what we got. We do have a dome light. Got dash lights. Amp meter's reading. Is the gas gauge reading? Can't tell if that's reading yet. So before we try and crank it, hasn't ran in kind of a while, so I want to see if we're getting fuel up here and then bleed the injection lines to make sure we're getting fuel to the injectors. Because if we're getting fuel to the injectors, it should run unless there's something wrong with the engine. So right here by the intake horn is the main fuel inlet for the injection pump right there, and that's a 19 millimeter. So I'm going to loosen that up and manually pump the mechanical fuel pump, see if we're getting fuel out of here. All right, so I cracked it a little bit. So the lift pump is way down here on the side of the block, and it's what supplies the injection pump. Let's see. See where my finger is down here? This is the lift pump. There's a bulb right there you can press. So I'm pumping. I can hear, I can see some dripping. See that? We are getting some fuel. Yeah, we're getting fuel up here. Go ahead and close this up, and then we'll crack the injection lines, and hopefully we get some fuel coming out of the injectors. Next thing we'll do is open these lines. Just a few cranks is really all you need. Okay, try headlights.
Headlights?
Nope. Oh. See, we got the lights on the snowplow, parking lights. We don't have any headlights.
What?
Yep.
Running lights?
Yeah, running lights in the back. Try your signal.
Left.
I'll be danged. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, have that.
How about brakes? Ready?
Yeah, brakes.
Brake lights. All right.
Awesome.
Good. Did you put any brake fluid in it yet, or
Yes,
no?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, try the headlights.
Headlights are on.
No, all we got's running lights.
What?
Flip that switch on for the snowplow, that big switch down there.
All right, I flipped it up. Does those
No. What?
those lights?
What?
Does any lights come on?
The parking lights.
No, the headlights.
No headlights.
Ain't good. Hold on.
Oh, yep. What'd you do?
I flipped the dimmer switch.
Okay, do that again.
Did they come on?
Do it again. Make the brights come on. Yeah, we have one. We don't have the other. Yep.
So we got one headlight?
We got one bright, yeah. I wonder if
Maybe the headlights are just bad.
you want to try cranking it?
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, try cranking it. Okay.
Anything coming out of the injector lines?
One, or let's see, two, cylinder 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're getting some. Crank it a little more. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut these.
So you are getting fuel out of the injectors?
Yeah, most of them. A couple of them, I don't see any. Crank that shut.
I hear the solenoid.
Shut number 6. Before I start these trucks that have been sitting for a while, I always take the intake boot off the turbo and get a piece of wood ready, because sometimes if these have been sitting a while, the injection pump freezes up, or sometimes the plungers can get stuck or they freeze, and the injection pump freezes sometimes in the full throttle position.
You got
And
something.
it's scary to shut them down. I had that happen to me on the last Cummins I had, and if I didn't have a piece of wood there, I would have been in some major trouble.
Do we have something to put on it? Let's see.
So we got to get a piece of wood.
Let's see.
Turbo spins. Doesn't really have a lot of shaft play, even though it's got 300,000 on it. It's good.
Is this, will it,
Well, it'll fit.
I mean, at least it'll stop it to where you can start undoing injectors.
Yeah. All right. Okay. You ready?
Try it.
Yeah, give it a whirl. Beautiful.
We got oil pressure.
Wow, that's a 12 valve, baby.
It's charging.
Turbo spinning.
Let's start airing that tire up. Let's start airing the tire up.
Okay. Looks like all of our accessories are spinning. What can happen on these is sometimes that fluid damper, which is the harmonic balancer, there's rubber in there. Sometimes that rubber can go bad, and then the motor will run, but none of the accessories will be turning. It's just something I look at. Okay, let's see. What do we got for gauges? Awesome. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. We got charging, we have tack, we have oil pressure, we have fuel, which I think is working, because the problem is if these don't charge, the tack and the charging are related, and that can be a PCM issue, and it can be a real bad issue to track down. So I'm glad that that's working. The last flying drive I did with a Dodge Cummins, I had that problem. No tack, no charge, and it could get a little scary, because if you can't fix that, you're in a bind. Yeah, I had the batteries go dead on me. Oh look, even the 4-wheel drive light works. Yeah, we got to get it out of 4-wheel. How do you turn this thing on? I don't even know where the power button is, but it'd be kind of nice to have a radio. I went a little high though. 1,000 should be like 7, 8. Not a huge deal, but a little high. We got Dad putting air in the rear tire here. Did it take air?
Yeah, I thought that tire was coming apart, but it's not. It's mud or dirt or something.
The reason for the high idle is this throttle linkage. I'm going to spray it down. Also, we're losing pressure pretty fast out of this tire because I don't know if you can hear it, but the valve stem is bad, so it's leaking air. You can hear it. Yeah, valve stem's bad on that one. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it takes a few pumps of the pedal. It almost went to the floor. It's going to the floor. Yeah. It's definitely spongy. Yeah, we're gonna have to check those for sure, Okay. That should be it. But the four-wheel drive light's still on. There's a piece of baling wire here. I'm sure I just hooked it back up, but that's what's holding the hood on because that latch gave out or it's rusted. Whoops. My bad.
What's that?
My bad. I hit that piece of wood.
Oh, yeah. Before you go through that door, let me make sure.
I got a wheel locking up. I can feel it. Alright. All that rear tire has to do is make it to Dalton's. It's losing air fast. Made it. There's Jim.
That's what I'm talking about. You take off, you bring one back.
That's right. We got her out of there.
And what all you got to do to it?
Brakes are funky. Real bad.
What's that?
The brakes are real funky.
Yeah. Well, you want pull up here on the flat pad, so if you got to work on it, you can work on it up there on that pad. That's what we've done it before.
Alright.
Yeah, put it up there so you have a flat spot to work.
What a piece of shit.
It's
Where
nice.
did you find this piece of shit?
Actually, really close to you. You should have bought it. You should have bought this dump.
I'll pass.
This is a nice truck right here. Well, the tire, it barely made it to Dalton's, and the temperature's been creeping close to 190. I'm not sure if it's gonna try and overheat, but let's see how stiff the radiator hose is. It's not that stiff. I don't know if it's trying to overheat or not.
What? The driver's seat is slightly worn on the edge.
Yeah,
The
well,
whole truck is slightly worn on the edge.
well, the guy put the one guy that owned it put 300,000 miles on it in the same seat, so it's toast.
Wow. Imagine he was a plus-size gentleman like myself.
Now I don't know what this guy looks like, but he ate that seat up.
I'm gravitationally challenged.
Not dangerous.
It's got antifreeze. I'm just not sure how much it's cycling.
So, he's in for it.
Is that over?
nothing now. We'll get it all cleaned up for you here. Yeah, we're all good to go.
Yeah, it's a little roached.
Yeah, all good to go. Ready to go to Wyoming.
Yeah, it's full now.
Try and see if it gets better.
We're maintaining. Dad just said the temperature's coming down. I did hear the fan clutch kick on. Could use a little water. Maybe that thermostat finally opened up. It is moving the water. I do see it moving.
Coming down.
Okay. Not as bad as those ones in Dowagiac, the other Dodge we did. Those ones dang near broke a snap-on 3-foot long breaker bar. They were
Yeah.
breaking it.
Yeah, you'll pull the motor up.
Good morning. It is the morning of day 2 of getting this 95 Cummins running and driving and roadworthy enough to make an 800-mile trip to Encampment, Wyoming, where I have bought another truck that I have to get running to drive back to Tucson. So, tires. The situation with the tires is these are way too teeny tiny, and I don't know how old they are, and the back ones are more dry rotted than the fronts. So Dalton has some tires that he's going to let me buy for a decent price that are better, a little newer, a little taller tires, help out with the fuel mileage and speed. So he's got these 1-ton rims, or what are, yeah, 1-ton dually rims. So these two are the ones from 2023, and then the other ones are all the same. They're all from 19. So Dalton's got a tire machine in there that we're going to use to take those tires off those rims, and then take these tires off these rims and swap them out. And also with the brakes, yesterday we found out they were really spongy, and they were spongy all the way back to Dalton's. Brake fluid was a little low, it wasn't out, can't really see it leaking anywhere. So we filled it up with brake fluid. It hasn't leaked any out. The rears were pretty out of adjustment. So I adjusted the rears and they're still sort of spongy. Now, I'm not sure why. I don't know if the master is giving out, if some seal is bad in there, letting fluid pass through and not giving a positive brake pedal. There could be air in the system, and but I'm telling you, messing with these brakes and opening them things up is a dangerous game to play because things are rusty, especially down there. Remember, this was a plow truck, salt, snow, water. I tried to loosen up one of the bleeders yesterday on the rear brakes and it started to twist. I'm not sure if it was going to break the bleeder, but the second you break one thing on this brake system and you open it up, like if I broke a bleeder off, you're cooked. You're cooked. You're spending hours and hours in a full day fixing these brakes. So spongy is okay if it stays consistent. We're not going to open up the brake system if we don't have to. If they're quasi working now, I'd rather just leave it that way, you know, just let sleeping dogs lie. We did grease some of the grease zerks underneath the U-joints for the front four-wheel drive and we greased some other suspension parts down there. It's low on oil, but I'm gonna change that anyway. I did check all the differentials and stuff. The front differential does need some gear oil. The rear differential was good, and the transfer case was low. So let's do some fluids right now. Flex bags are a pretty smart design for these because you can never quite get that bottle tipped up enough to get it all out. Oh, there it is. All right, good enough there. Yeah, this truck is leaking oil and rusty everywhere. It's bad. It looks like we're getting something out of here, down here. It kind of smells like gear oil. Yeah, this smells like gear oil, and it's freshly wet. You have the whole underside of this just caked in oil. You got a boot here, it's coming off. I mean, look at the housing for the spring. It's totally rotted off. I already had this plug loose from last night when I was checking it. This thing's taking a lot of gear oil. Now we won't tear up our transfer case because that's the whole value of the truck is right here. You know, even though the truck is rotted out in Tucson, it's worth decent money because it's a 4x4. You wouldn't believe what people will go through to try to convert a 2-wheel drive to 4, or piece together 4-wheel drive stuff to make something 4-wheel drive for swaps and stuff. Every vehicle has to have or what I call its saving grace. You know, what's its saving grace? Yeah, it's rotted out, but what's its saving grace? If this was a gas truck, there is no saving grace. Ain't worth $1,000. Cummins makes it worth more. The fact that it's a Cummins 4x4, people can look past a lot of sin in these rusted out panels because they want this 4x4 stuff is really hard to get all together at one time, you know, because it ain't just a transmission. The transmission is different because it's got to bolt up to the transfer case. There's different cross members for the transmission. Drive shaft's a different length. To do a 4x4 swap, if you have a 2-wheel drive Cummins, you basically have to have an entire donor truck. The front end is different. Everything is different. So having all this together is where the value is. Even though I can see the wires and the carpet through the floor. Rummaged around in Dalton's metal pile and found what looks to be a pretty good drain pan. So, good Lord. Holy crap. Some people should not work on vehicles. So we were able to get one tire from Dalton's 1-ton rim onto our rim, but the other 3, it's just not going to do it. Those tires are too old, stiff, big, and the tire machine isn't big enough. It's not set up for 1-ton rims. It needs a different tire machine. We'll be here all day, all night, and tomorrow doing it. So we got to take them to a local tire shop to get them switched out. Dalton's going to let us use one of his rigs to do that. And then after that, we can get out of here. Thanks, Dalton, for letting us use your pickup. On recommendation from Dalton, we stopped at this place called 5 Star Tire, and they're gonna demount and balance and get all that switched around for us. 90 bucks. All right, we went and had some lunch, and the guys here at 5 Star got these tires mounted and balanced. This one took like 10 ounces because I guess they said the rim is bent. I don't know. They said the rim's bent. I don't know. It was like 10 ounces out, which is a lot. So we got 1, 2, 3 good ones. We got the loose tires that we're going to take with us in case we need tires. And we'll give the rims back to Dalton. Let's go back, get these put back on the truck. So this is the one they had to put 30 pounds of weights on. We'll put this one in the back. We'll keep these extra tires in case the truck in Wyoming needs them. So we have all the tools loaded up. We have a few extra parts for the truck that I bought in Wyoming that we have to get to. I think the truck is as ready as it'll ever be to hit the road. It seems to run good, drive good, stop okay. I got tires on it. All the gauges seem to work. It's charging. It did keep temperature. Transmission shifts. It goes into overdrive, and I did feel it go into lockup. So all that is good. I want to thank Dalton for letting us use his house and his facilities. And actually, this concrete pad we're working on is the future pole barn garage shop. He poured the pad, but he's going to put up a building here. So we were some of the first people to work in the new pole barn garage headquarters. We also want to thank Dalton for letting us use his Chevrolet to get around town to swap these tires around. Very, very helpful. So appreciate you, Dalton.
And Jess, thank you for cooking supper for us last night.
Yeah, Jess.
Thank you.
Jess made us supper, and Jess also made a blanket for our new baby Novalee. She made this quilt
Beautiful.
From scratch. Isn't that cute? Look at that.
Oh, it's beautiful. Look at the colors.
It's Novalee's baby blanket. So thank you, Jess. This is so nice. We'll go to good use.
We'll put it up front to make sure nothing happens to it.
Swapping from one rig to another. Making our way out. got 2 straps in the back, 1 strap in the front. Both of these are crossed over this top frame rail. You can see under here the bed. This is that plate steel they have up top. This is rotted off. It's being held up by a chain, some scale. This entire section's gone. You know what's funny is look at the bottom of the truck. None of that's rotted out. It's because oil got slung on it and it saved it. Got one of the U-bolts that hold the rear end on rotted in half. You can still see the stud on it though.
Seats won't fall out.
Before leaving Kansas City, I had to visit the largest remaining artifact from the steam locomotive era in the entire state, and that is Union Station. Construction began in 1910. It was completed in 1914. By the time it was completed, it was the 3rd largest train station in the United States. It took 12 different railroads and a special sales tax by the state of Missouri to raise the funds to build this station. It opened to the largest crowd ever gathered in Kansas City and cost $40 million at the time. At a staggering 850,000 square feet and 3 chandeliers weighing 3,500 pounds each, it was a reflection of Kansas City's importance as a hub for passenger and freight traffic. There was actually an entire separate building off-site built just to heat Union Station. For many decades, Union Station thrived for both passenger travel, freight travel, and mail travel. The station was built in the Beaux Arts style of architecture, just like Grand Central in New York City, with many arches and limestone walls. They were completed 1 year apart from each other, and Union Station was one of the last mammoth train stations ever to be built in the country before rail traffic started to decline. Union Station stayed busy all the way up until World War II, where it saw the height in the number of people to pass through its walls. But directly after World War II, Union Station started to see a decline in foot traffic and revenue, mainly due to the interstate highway system, everybody having their own personal vehicle, and the loss of freight dollars from railroads to the rising over-the-road trucking industry that used that same interstate highway. Traffic fell to an all-time low. In 1973, it had only 32,842 passengers, down from over 600,000 in World War II.
Look at this. Look at this. I mean, look how beautiful this is. This is just unbelievable. Workmanship. How do you get up there?
Look at that.
There's some horse and buggies, and then there's some cars. Look. So people were still, it's kind of like old versus old introduces with the new. Early Model Ts. Look at all the cranes. Look, they just, I guess they was using it to lift up stuff and put it in. Look at this guy. I mean, these people are the ones that interest me. These folks. That's what makes the world go around. That guy.
He's got a pipe.
Yeah. These are the people these are the people that we hang with. I'm not for sure about this guy. He could be the guy that you dislike.
That old equipment's fascinating.
Steam of some sorts, I think, I'd say.
Yeah, it looks like a steam boiler.
Steam of some sorts.
Look at that steam shovel. Oh, first day's work, 8/27/10, 1910. In the 1990s, there was a movement to rejuvenate Union Station and restore it to its former glory, and reopen it with museums, shops, restaurants, and other events. You can actually rent out sections of Union Station for your own wedding. Union Station was actually slated to be torn down at one time. I'm so glad some people saw the vision to not do that, because it was not the same fate as Penn Station in New York City, one of the greatest losses of architectural marvel in the United States history. It stood from 1910 to 1963, where it was replaced by something much uglier with no class. We had a really cool time checking out Union Station. It's a big part of American history, the growth of America through time, you know, from the horse and buggy days to the locomotive days to these ginormous monuments of commerce, you know, and then onto the car and then onto the plane. I mean, this used to be this was the airport, you know, just like how we wait in airports, they waited at train stations. I mean, it's the same concept, just different buildings. The buildings are in different locations, but wow. You know, I'm glad that they didn't tear it down, and I'm glad that they preserved it and restored it and put it back to some kind of use in some capacity. There is Amtrak, but I don't think Amtrak gets as much business as...
No.
It's just not...
There's restaurants and stuff in there.
Yeah. Trains are not their mode of profit now. It's restaurants and gift shops and various other tours and stuff, so...
I'm glad they didn't tear it down.
Yeah, because it was slated to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it must be getting on our way to Wyoming. It's about 7 o'clock here. It's going to be getting dark, so we'll see where we end up tonight. Getting to be nighttime now. We got one headlight that works and the driver's side is out. The only lights that are on right now are the snowplow lights, but they're pointed down pretty far. So we're gonna stop at a gas station, see if we can maybe get those pointed up. So at least we have two headlights, I guess, and then maybe we can fix the driver's side headlight tomorrow or something. We can get a headlight. We're keeping good thermostat temp. It's charging, TAC is working, we got oil pressure, we got gas, or I'm sorry, diesel fuel. Next right? Okay. Yeah, if you look right here, it looks like it'll rock back and forth. I don't know how you get to it though. I don't want to bend this too hard and break it. I'd be willing to bet if you loosen that up, it'll loosen this up and you can tilt it, because this will rock back and forth. I think we'll probably just turn in the stud. Yeah, see?
Well, I can see where it's supposed to rock.
I'm scared if you tweak this, we're gonna break it instead of move it. We're just gonna have to leave them as is. There's nothing we can really do about it right now. We're gonna have to keep going. We're not going to be able to fix that tonight, and I do not want to break our only source of light. Even though it's shining down too far, it's better than nothing. It'll keep us from getting pulled over. It's noticeably colder where we're at now. So we got from Kansas City to Lincoln, Nebraska today, while fitting in the Union Station escapade. That's a little over 200 miles we went, which I think is good. Truck did great by all accounts. A few small things, like when I'm driving, like it kind of will veer to the right a little bit. The throttle response issue, if you could say that it's an issue. I mean, it'll go 65, 70. But it won't go over 2,000 RPMs unless you're going down a hill. So I don't know if it's like low fuel pressure or blockage in the fuel filter. I don't know, but I'm not super worried about that. Let's see, what else?
Temperature.
Temperature got colder.
Temperature.
It's only
Oh,
gonna
we
get-
hit a bump and the headlight come on.
Yeah,
So we totally could see.
And so I don't know what the fuel mileage is until tomorrow when we fill up again. We're gonna try tomorrow to hightail it all the way to Encampment, Wyoming.
Cold.
Yeah, it's cold. It is definitely colder. And it's only gonna get colder in Wyoming. I think they had snow or something in the last few days. So we did bring coats, but it's chilly. It's a little chilly. Well, good morning, guys. It is the morning of day 2. We're 200 miles in out of 800 miles to get to Encampment, Wyoming, to get to another 12 valve that I bought. So looking on the ground, that looks absolutely beautiful. I don't see anything except for that differential's leaking over there. It's not too bad, a couple drops. Look at that. Wow. We did fix the hood latch before we left. Even though it's not leaking it on the ground, it can still be burning it. When these diesels get kind of aged, they'll start consuming a lot of oil. Even though it's not dripping it, you gotta watch it. Yeah, oh yeah, we're still a little over the safe mark, so totally good there.
Check the oil yet?
Yeah, oil's good, brake fluid's good. Haven't leaked any brake fluid. Power steering, I actually have not checked that yet at all. Yeah, it's got some on the stick.
Water's good.
Water's good?
Water's good.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, we have a lot of fluid on the dipstick. I mean, you check them in neutral hot, but it's got fluid in it. All right, we're looking pretty good. There we go. So before we headed out, I wanted to check and see if we have at least power going to the headlight, because it could just be a bulb. I looked at the filaments on the bulb and they don't look burnt. Sometimes you can see them, they'll be black, or the inside of the glass will be burnt. But if you take the pigtail of the headlight, you touch it, we are getting power, so it could just be a bad bulb. It'd be nice to also figure out how to get this back on. See if she starts up. Perfect. Yeah, it's still idling a little high. That throttle linkage is just a little stuck, that's all. Oh, wrong box first. Gotta get the headlight out. Look at that.
all right.
There it is, okay. So now that that's on, got some JB Super Weld, which is probably this looks just like super glue, but it's probably JB Weld's version of super glue. Call it Super Weld.
Job.
You have to,
Here.
oh, it just comes out?
No. Oh, I thought you had to cut it.
No, I guess it just comes out. Put a lot on here. Straps look to be holding up okay. Yeah, they're still pretty tight. Implications that way. right, finally stopped at a place called Gothenburg, Nebraska to fill up. We've gone 363 miles since I filled up, and I'm still at a little over a quarter of a tank. So we'll see what kind of mileage it gets. Diesel is $3.14 a gallon here in Gothenburg, and I'm hoping that the truck gets 18 to 20 miles to the gallon. You can almost set your clock. If these trucks are running decent, they'll get 18 to 20 miles to the gallon unloaded. And it doesn't seem to matter whether they're 4x4 or not. You would think that with the extra stuff, with the weight of the transfer case and the front differential and the potential drag and all the extra parts that are rotating, that it would be a lot worse. But these trucks actually, they don't really care too much. And this truck is probably every bit of 6,000 pounds with all the stuff we have in the back. I'm sure it's 6,500 pound truck right now. It took 22 gallons, which is about 16 miles to the gallon. A little worse than I thought, but that's okay. Yeah, it's still good. Oh, look, I just noticed this. There's a running board on my side. There used to be a running board over here. There's the tubes that would come out there rotted off. Yeah,
Still got in
yeah,
it? How far down?
not very, you know, a little. Hold on. All right, around 400 miles to go to get to Encampment, Wyoming, where we're trying to get to tonight. So. And he's on that horn.
Boy, he was.
He's laying on it. Look at those gas station lights. That's an old service station. That's the island, the lights, and the pumps would have went there. Wow. Interesting town.
Lead you this way because they want you to see their town. Look at that.
Oh, look at that sign.
Yeah, movie. That's a movie.
It's routing us through their town to get back to I-80. Dollar General. Kind of an older Dollar General sign. $400 miles to go. So we've went 430 some odd miles today. We started off in Lincoln. Now we are in the great state of Wyoming. Never been to Wyoming. Me and Dad have both never been to Wyoming. It's beautiful. I know why they call it the Great Plains, because man, it is rolling hills for hundreds of miles. It's barren. It's cool though, but like just the amount of nothingness is really breathtaking. We pretty much I-80 goes across the middle of Nebraska, like directly, just a straight line through the middle of Nebraska. And boy, is it wide open space. It's the first Walmart I've seen in 400 miles. We still have about 100 and some miles to get to Encampment, which is where the other Dodge Cummins pickup is that I bought that I have to get running and ultimately drive back to Arizona, but we have got to get to the truck. And we picked up some things here at this Walmart. Some things I know the truck, I'm sure, has dead batteries. I don't know what the battery situation is going to be like getting batteries there. So I wanted to buy a couple batteries, make sure that we can crank the truck. Bought some tranny fluid, some engine oil.
What's this?
This is a little cute thing, a laundry detergent. We've been on the road for 6 days. We're out of clean clothes, so I got this cute little thing of whatever so we can wash clothes. Gear oil, some basic essentials for the truck. We have other tools, and I brought a few parts that I know the truck needs. I'm telling you, man, I don't know what the deal is, but a battery is $150 to $200, but these marine batteries, which I don't know, they deep cycle, they different designation, but these are $93, and the same size car battery is like $180. And I've used these a lot, and I've never had a problem. All right, we got a full ship, full of fluids, full of parts, full of tools, and laundry detergent. Don't run around stinky. Don't do it. Before we head out of Cheyenne, we're going to eat at a place called Guadalajara Grill. It's a Mexican joint. Break it up. We've been having a lot of fast food, so we'll have like a real restaurant experience tonight. We filled up in Laramie. The truck did turn in 18.9 miles to the gallon. You guys thought I didn't know what I was talking about. First, you thought, see, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know it. 19 miles a gallon. I knew it. They all get 18 to 20 if they're running right. And this is the stretch that's going to get dicey because there's nothing out here. It's beautiful, but there's nothing out here. It's 2 lanes, no towns in between.
What goes on out here? I'd like to know.
Yeah, really. What does go on out here?
I mean, is it? I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Is it?
I mean, it's interesting.
Hunting, skiing? I don't know.
I don't like living on top of people. I live on at least an acre. But some people don't want to see anybody when they go out their front door. They don't even want to see another house. And if you don't want to see another house when you walk out your door, this is the place to be. That is the beauty of a Cummins. People sometimes don't understand why do you rant and rave about a 12 valve? So what? You know, like this thing has 302,000 miles on it, and it's not even smoking. It's not like super low on power. Like you can tell with a gas engine after so many miles, it's tired, it's wore out. I mean, this thing's still crisp. I mean, it's crisp. It's good. The way it runs, it doesn't need a rebuild. It's got a lot of miles on it too. I mean, it's just the way they made them was impressive to have that many miles, and it's not even offering to try and give out or show signs of, hey, I'm tired. We're making it to this place called the Spirit West Lodge. So
Tell him it's pretty laid back there.
like when you're booking hotels, you always it's all corporate. You know, they want your name, they want your card, they want everything. I called this guy up at this lodge and I said, are you going to be there at the front desk when I get there? He said, no, I'm going to bed. Going to bed?
I'm going to bed.
It's like, no, I won't be there. I'm making breakfast in the morning. I said, oh, okay. I said, so what about the key to the room? He said, well, I'll leave you directions how to get to your room on the front door. And there is no key. I said, no key? It's a hotel room. He said, oh, we leave everything open here. It's
Go figure.
we leave everything open here. I said, wow. All right, well, yeah, I want the room. Do I pay you, or what do you want me to do? He said, well, we'll square up in the morning. What about, I said, you're making breakfast, what time? He said, I'll have coffee on at 7. Breakfast is at 8. You know, when you stay in a hotel, breakfasts are usually 6 to 9 or something. I said, so is there like a time frame for breakfast? And he said, well, it'll be hot and ready at 8. So I said, well, I guess he's making it at 8 and it's ready at 8, and if you're not there at 8, you ain't getting breakfast. So
That's cool.
it's cool, but it's totally foreign, you know. Every time you make a phone call, you know, you just get a corporate office. You get a call machine, and then you get somebody that's not even in the country. It's, you know, it's just funny. It's a cool way of doing things, right? It's the way you think things should be done. You know, there's no time frame.
You'll settle up in the morning.
Yeah, settle up in the morning. And sure enough, just like Sean said, There were notes on the door telling me where the room was. All the doors were unlocked. There was no keys. And at 8 a.m. sharp, there was breakfast on the table. There was coffee in a pot. The sausage was good. The bread was good. The eggs were good. I appreciate Sean and what he did. There was also a kitty laying around. I love cats. Little barn cat he found. Just stays around the property. Well, good morning, guys. It is the morning of day 3. We made it to Encampment, Wyoming. We stayed in this really cool lodge last night. There's a river right here in the background. I'll show you guys in a minute. Dad's over here trying to get some video of this turkey.
Will let me get to him.
It's pretty cool. They got a barn cat. Where'd he go? Hey, he's under the truck. What are you doing, dude? I love cats. We got these turkeys over here.
Come here, fella.
Dad's out here trying to get a picture of one.
Oh, but as soon as he walks off, he puts his tail.
See, this one will get right up next to you. So I guess in the animal kingdom, most of the pretty birds are the male ones, and strutting his stuff. He's trying to convince her that he is the finest option. But I think he's the only option. Look at this one's looking for food.
This one will come right up to look at him.
Maybe I can pet her.
Yeah, you might get your hand pecked.
Pretty neat, huh? Cool part of the country that I've never seen.
What? Now you're walking in front of me. Come here. What's up with that?
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Would you look at that?
Here we go.
Well, that ain't good.
I knew it. I knew those batteries were iffy.
No, you just lost connection. Oh no, you lost connection. Look.
Oh, what, did you do that?
No.
Did you do that?
No, the way you was driving up here last night around them curves and stuff. I knew the positive battery cable.
Don't blame my driving.
Yeah, you did it. I knew the way you was driving on that road.
What are you even talking about?
Yeah, I knew the way you was turning them corners, this truck getting up on 2 wheels.
No, I was not.
No, they're good.
Better start.
I told you. I knew when you was driving the positive battery cable was going to come off.
You didn't know that?
Huh?
You just think anyone younger than you drives like a maniac.
Yeah, anybody that's younger than me, they take corners too fast. They're in a hurry.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
Look at them snow caps on the mountains.
Look at this little town. Old gas pumps. I wonder if those work.
I'm sure they do. I can tell by looking at them they work. Wyoming 70 closed 7 miles ahead.
Check that out. That's slick.
That's beautiful.
Pretty sure that's it. That's all right.
That's a nice looking truck from a distance.
All right, well, we made it to our second rig to get running and drive home. It's another second-gen Cummins, but I think this one's in nicer shape.
You think?
Yeah, and he said over the phone, the guy's name's John, you know, middle-aged guy, sounds like an honest guy. I'd say a lot of people from this part of the country are pretty straight shooters. And he said, hey, it's a clean truck, I'm telling you. And it looks clean. Look at that. I don't know if, do vehicles rust out bad in this part of the country, like Wyoming?
Some parts yes, some parts no.
I'm not really sure.
Some of it's more arid.
Yeah.
But
look at the, I mean, this is almost like,
but
Arizona level's clean. Look at the bottom of the, well, first off, look at that. Okay. And then, look at this.
you know one positive thing.
Look at that. Dude, there's nothing under there. Friggin' truck is clean as a pin. Look at this. You can actually see the bolt head. There's not even any bubbling, because when the rust starts, it'll bubble. You'll see bubbles, and that's how you know you got problems.
Look at the frame and the floor.
Okay, well, I don't want to look at the truck too much because we have another video to shoot on this. We still have to get 1,000 miles home. So that is where this one is going to end, and that is where this one begins. You guys are going to have to wait for that one. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching.